We've all gotten a cold before, or had to protect a cut on our hand from infection. But what is our body doing during all this? Today we are going to discuss innate immunity. Innate immunity is the body's first line of defense against foreign pathogens. Let's define a pathogen. Pathogens are microorganisms that can cause diseases such as viruses, bacteria, fungi, and parasites. Our body's immune system works to fight these pathogens to keep us from getting sick. Innate immunity's function can be broken into three categories: avoidance, resistance, and tolerance. Let's start with avoidance. The body has anatomical and chemical barriers to help it avoid the entrance of pathogens into the body. To better understand these barriers, let's first talk about how a pathogen can get into the body, or routes of entry. Common routes of entries for pathogens are your skin, your gastrointestinal tract, your respiratory system, and your eyes, nose, and throat. Each of these routes of entry have barriers to try and prevent infection. These barriers can be broken into two categories. Anatomical barriers or physical barriers include things such as epithelial cells, which form tight junctions to block pathogen entry. Cilia, which are hair-like structures which can trap and help expel microorganisms. Mucus coatings on cells and tissues help prevent pathogens from sticking to their surfaces, while tears help to flush out the eyes. Paired with physical barriers are chemical barriers. Mucus, while a physical barrier, also contains antimicrobial proteins to help kill bacteria. Low pH environments like the stomach offer too harsh a condition for pathogens to survive. Enzymes in your stomach, tears, and saliva work to degrade pathogens. And your blood and intestines are hosts to the complement system. The complement system is a collection of proteins found in serum and intestinal mucus. These proteins work with specific antibodies to lyse bacteria and can coat the surface of virus particles to make them easier to phagocytose. When our barriers fail, our innate immune system moves to resistance. When pathogens get into the body, they initiate an immune response. This happens because pathogens contain unique molecular patterns, or PAMPs, that can be recognized by the pattern recognition receptors, or PRRs, which are specialized proteins meant to detect PAMPs. While some viruses survive and multiply outside the cells, other viruses survive and multiply inside the cells. PRRs, called toll-like receptors, are transmembrane proteins meant to detect pathogens in the extracellular space, while NOD-like receptors are intercellular proteins which detect intercellular infections. Cells that detect pathogens are called sensor cells, and a variety of them are developed from myeloid progenitor precursors. The cells important to the function of innate immunity are called the phagocytes, which include dendritic cells, macrophages, and granulocytes. Let's start by discussing dendritic cells. Dendritic cells are characterized by elaborate membranous processes similar to those of dendritic nerves. They take up and degrade particulate in the bloodstream, as well as significant amounts of extracellular fluids in a process called micropinocytosis. As sensor cells, when they come into contact with pathogens, they release signals which can activate other immune cells. Macrophages are tissue-resident cells which are present in almost all tissues. They engulf and kill tissue-invading microbes, induce inflammation, activate other immune cells, and are the first line of defense against invading pathogens. Granulocytes are a group of white blood cells characterized by granules in the cytoplasm. Granulocytes consist of neutrophils, eosinophils, and basophils. Neutrophils are the largest population of these cells and play a significant role in innate immunity by aiding in phagocytosis and destruction of microorganisms in intercellular vesicles by degradative enzymes and antimicrobial proteins. Eosinophils and basophils are said to be important in the defense against parasites or larger microorganisms. Sensor cells, while working to clear microorganisms, are also releasing signals called inflammatory mediators. Inflammatory mediators propagate an immune response to other immune cells. Protein signals that affect the behavior of nearby cells are called cytokines. Chemokines are protein signals which recruit cells with corresponding receptors. Once the pathogen in the body has elicited an immune response, the body has to adapt to tolerate the infection. The body does this by enhancing areas of infection to resist tissue damage. This is carried out by the process of inflammation. We've all heard the word inflammation a lot, but what is it? Inflammation is the process in which blood cells are recruited into infected tissues. It is characterized by increased blood flow and increased permeability of blood vessels, which allows blood proteins and fluids to leak into tissue. This is what causes the redness and swelling we associate within an injury. To balance the influx of fluid and cells into the tissue, lymphatic fluid, or lymph, increases flow, carrying microbes and cells into the lymphoid tissue and helping to maintain fluid balance. The endothelium also plays a role in tolerance by releasing signals to recruit blood cells, or leukocytes, to aid in wound healing. The cells recruited include neutrophils, which we touched upon earlier, and monocytes. Monocytes circulate in the blood and are recruited to sites of infection. At those sites of infection, they differentiate into macrophages and are important in supporting and sustaining the innate immune system's response. They also begin to bridge the gap between innate immunity and adaptive immunity, which we'll talk about in another video. We've covered a lot in this video, so let's review. In this video, we covered how innate immunity can be described in three broad functions: avoidance, or the body's anatomical and chemical barriers against pathogens; resistance, or the immune response to remove foreign pathogens; and tolerance, or the body's effort to protect the body from tissue damage. If you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe. If you want to see more content about innate immunity, just let us know in the comments. We post videos every Friday, so tune in for the next one.